Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Wells, and today I'm going to be talking to you about cognitive psychology. Before we get started, I want us to really understand a theme that I thought was interesting, which came from our YouTube video, What is Cognitive Psychology? And essentially, it is the understanding of what is the unseen, things that we can't see with the naked eye, decision making, responses, problem solving, those type of things. We're also going to talk about how it emerged, the key events that shaped it, and where the field's headed today. But I really want us to understand that cognitive psychology is the understanding of things unseen, whether it's how we think, learn, remember, or make decisions. But what is cognitive psychology? Well, it's a scientific study of mental processes. Think of attention, perception, memory, language, problem solving, decision making. As we see in our textbook by Galati, it focuses on how we acquire, store, and use knowledge, rather than just observe behavior. The reason why this is important in the psychological field today is because it bridges the gap between behavior and the brain. For example, by studying how memory works, we can better equip our educational systems, but we can also understand diseases like Alzheimer's. Essentially, cognitive psychology gives us the tools to explore what is happening inside the mind, not just what we can observe externally. But why is this important? Well, because psychological questions cannot fully be answered by just observing behavior. We need to understand the internal processes, memory, decision-making, reasoning. It really just bridges the gap between behavior in the brain, which gives us insight into mental operations. Three major things that have happened to shape modern cognitive psychology is the decline in behavioralism, which predominantly was used in the early 20th century, focusing on just observable behavior. As we've seen in our textbook by Galati, researchers like Noam Chomsky challenged this view, arguing that language learning couldn't be explained by just stimulus response conditioning alone. This opened the scientific conversation of what mental processing looked like. The next is the computer metaphor. During the 1950s and 60s, we see the use of computers in in science, which then shaped psychology, or then psychologists began to see cognition differently. They began to look at it through input, storage, and output, like a computer. But why this is important is that it gave us a model and a framework for testing and mental functions scientifically. The third is growth in cognitive neuroscience. Advances in brain imaging, like fMRI and PET scans, allow scientists to actively observe the brain during cognitive tasks. In the paper, Social Cognitive Neuroscience, Where We Are Headed, it highlights how neuroscience and cognitive psychology helps us understand which brain systems support social thought and emotions. This multidisciplinary shift continues to shape how we do research today. And how has the field changed, and what are the new directions? Over time, cognitive psychology has evolved from studying isolated practices like memory and perception into understanding how these interact in real-world contexts. Today, the field is connected to cognitive neuroscience, artificial intelligence, and developmental psychology. As we see in our textbook by Galati, it emphasizes how children's thinking evolves and how cognitive development informs our understanding of learning and reasoning. Three new directions going in the field is social cognition, which is examining how we process information about others, embodied cognition, which studies how thinking is influenced by the body and environment, and then applied cognitive psychology, which is improving education, design, and even legal decision-making. In a peer-reviewed article by Frontiers in Psychology, The Future of Cognitive Psychology, Integrating AI and Human Cognition, discusses how machine learning and neural modeling are helping psychologists simulate human thought more precisely. In summary, cognitive psychology has evolved from rejecting behavioralism to becoming a multidisciplinary science that connects the mind, brain, and technology. I hope this was helpful in our first go-around. Thank you so much.